Super healthy, packed full of veg, a little bit of meat to bind it all together. These dumplings are mouth-watering. This recipe is from my new book, Hong Kong Kitchen, which is out on pre-order now. Hey guys, welcome back to Wok Wednesdays. I'm Jeremy from School of Wok, London's premier Asian cookery school. Today, we're doing Pak Choi and kale dumplings. Now this dumpling is actually more of a northern Chinese dumpling dish, but there's one of my favorite restaurants in Hong Kong is a northern Chinese restaurant that only does lots of little northern Chinese dishes, and it's got a whole menu full of different types of dumplings. And the best thing about it is that they pack their dumplings full of different types of vegetables. So today I've got kale and pak choi, but you might have fennel or Chinese celery, watercress, and there's actually very little meat in their meat dumplings, much more veg. Garlic. I mean, everything for this, finely chopped. Got some good fatty pork mince here. Bit of ginger. As with most Chinese dishes, you'd garlic, ginger, spring onion, sort of form the basis of flavour. Spring onion. I like to add a bit of coriander to this as well. Freshens it up. If you don't like it, just don't put it in. Just a rough chop of the coriander will do. I'm going to make up a little quick dipping sauce later, so I'm just going to pop that into the vinegar over there. And pak choi. It's always easiest if you chop the leaves off the pak choi first, and then just kind of scrunch them up and roll them up. Makes it much easier to slice through. As long as you got sort of fine enough cuts, should be okay. Can be relatively rough and ready because the meat's going to kind of bind it all together. And the kale, I really like the kale because, as with the other vegetables that I mentioned, like watercress or fennel, it's got a lot of flavour. You know, with these types of dumplings, you want every bite, you want to be able to taste the flavour of the natural vegetables. Get a bit of crunch as well. All we got to do is season this up quite simply with some salt, some sugar. You want to season it quite heavily with salt and sugar. I'm not going to put any like liquidy sauces like soy sauce in there, other than a bit of sesame oil. Mainly because I know that there's quite a lot of moisture in the veg already. And as I say, the key for this is the natural flavour of those lovely vegetables. And that pork mince is really there, as I said, just to bind everything together, bring it all together for ease of stuffing, but to add a bit of texture. Now, the dim sum technique for this is to cup your fingers, with your fingers all closed. Pick up the meat and then throw it back into the bowl. And what that does is it knocks out any excess air in between the lumps of meat. Now, other than the filling, in this restaurant, there's no like specialist way of folding the dumplings or anything like that. They keep it as easy as possible. And they just sort of close them up. But I'm going to show you a little, what I call the fat cat fold. And that is to have your filling in the centre of the pastry. Make it as full as you can. And then just close up your pastry into like a half moon shape. And you just sort of squeeze the edges closed. And then you pull that half moon upwards like so. You get your little cat shape. Once you've got your cat's ears, one ear folds over the top of the other one. And then, kind of like a tortellini, you've got your fold. Your dumplings, once they're ready, it's a really easy job. You can actually freeze them at this point, especially if you're using fresh meat, you know, fresh veg. You freeze it. If you freeze it, you've got to cook them for an extra minute or so. If they're cooked fresh like this, rolling boil, 3 to 4 minutes maximum should do the job. A little trick with this on heat is that have it on a rolling boil when they go in, and then allow the boil to come back up again, and then just turn the heat down to medium from there. And that should just allow them to cook through without sort of too much froth from the flour, from the starch coming out into the water. For a quick dipping sauce, I've got the black rice vinegar that I popped the rest of the coriander into, with some light soy sauce and some chow chili oil. Really easy with that. We'll just cut through the dumplings nicely. And all these dumplings are now floating at the top of the water. Give them an extra 30 seconds to a minute and they'll be done. Finishing this off with the sauce, and what's really lovely about packing your dumplings full of veg is that you really see the sort of green colour of the veg popping out through the dumpling pastries. That is going to be a good dumpling. Still surprised me how something so simple can taste so good. Also surprised me how many dumplings I can eat in one session. If you're like me and you love your dumplings, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ding, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time for more Hong Kong food and more.